Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today we are talking a book haul, and this is my book haul for the month of June. As usual, I'm going to start with brand new books and then move into secondhand books, and I had a very exciting secondhand book find yesterday, so I'm very excited to show these to you. Alright, let's start though with the brand new books. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is one, let's talk about our children's book first. I've purchased Kid by Peter Carnavas. He is an Australian writer and illustrator, and this is his brand new middle grade book, and on the back it says, "This is the story of a small goat called Kid. Ever since his parents chased away a fox and never returned, Kid has stayed with Audrey the hen in the chook yard. Audrey tells him stories of his mum and dad's daring and bravery. She says they live on the nearby mountain, and Kid longs to leave the farm to find them, and then one day he discovers he is big enough to jump the fence. Will a wild adventure up the mountain help Kid find where he belongs?" So it sounds very cute, and there are not illustrations, which is surprising throughout, but it's just a very sparse, oh no, there's some little illustrations, there we go, very, very small ones on some of the pages, but yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. It should be good, should be cute. Oh, look, bless, what a cute little guy. So that will be a nice little middle grade read for me. I'm going to show you a poetry collection now. This book is called Autistic God by Kelsie Olds. I recently attended the Yellow Ladybugs conference, and Kelsie Olds was presenting there, and as part of her presentation she read a poem from this collection, which then made me go and buy it directly. For anyone who's interested, the poem was called Caged Birds, and I cried. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Essentially, so Kelsie Olds is an OT, and she is autistic herself, and she was raised in evangelical Christianity, and was very hyper-fixated on the rules for being a good Christian and a good kid, and then it's sort of like how that kind of plays out for her into her adulthood is kind of the focus of this poetry collection. So I'm interested to read more of the poems, and at some point I will tell you about it, because I'm sure I will read it relatively soon. The next one is one that had been on my wish list that I just found at a good price. It's called The Glass House by Brooke Dunnell. This one won the Fogarty Literary Award, which I don't know anything about, but she is an Australian author, I believe, and this is published by Fremantle Press. Let me tell you about it. Dutiful daughter Julia Lambert puts her life on hold and heads across the continent to help her father move into an aged care facility. But packing up the family home is no easy task, especially when Don reveals another guest has come to stay. Thwarted by her stubborn father and grappling with marital insecurities at home, Julia finds welcome distraction in a chance encounter with a childhood friend, but there is a lot she's forgotten about Davina Weir, like how her one-time best friend seems to delight in wrong-footing her, and how Davina likes to appear generous, but she never shares anything. Troubled by disturbing dreams about her stepdaughter at home, Julia is increasingly filled with foreboding. Why is her father refusing to move? Why is Davina taking such a stifling interest in Julia's faltering marriage? And what will happen when submerged secrets and long-hidden memories finally rise to the surface? So it sounds really good, and I will report back once I get to that one. And the last of the new books that I purchased may not be of interest to everybody because it's education focused. I'm a teacher in my day job. But this book is called Schooling Misogyny, Exposing and Eliminating the Influence of the Manosphere in Education Settings by Stephanie Wescott and Stephen Roberts. I purchased this one because it is for a book club with my union, my education union, and I'm going to read it and I will report back to you about it. I don't think I need to read the back of the book because I think the subtitle kind of tells you basically what this is about. So it's looking at what's happening currently, the influence of the manosphere in the education setting. And we've been talking a lot about this in our sort of regional union meetings, because especially for high school teachers, this is becoming a real problem. And there's been a lot of, a rise in instances of misogynistic behaviour from students towards female teachers in particular. So yeah, this is a very timely book and read, and I'm going to say I was looking forward to reading it. I really wish it wasn't a thing, but I think that it will be a very enlightening read. Okay, I was able to get a book for free this month, and that is because it was it was my library. One of the libraries that I visit has a kind of trolley at the front, which is books that they've either, I guess, received as donations that they're not going to put in to the library, or ex-library books, and this is one of those. It's an ex-library book, and this is a book that I have on my TBR. It's called Born Again Blakfella by Jack Charles, with Namila Benson. Jack Charles was an Aboriginal Australian actor, and this is his memoir. He is no longer with us, unfortunately, but yeah, he had a really, really rough, difficult life, but was sort of a very beautiful, generous, kind-hearted person as an adult, and I'm curious to read about his life and kind of, I guess, to participate in that, like, what would you call it? That being seen, being an observer and sitting with the difficulty of his life. He's also part of the Stolen Generation in Australia, and if that's not something that you know about, reach out. I'd be happy to chat more about it, but the basics of it is that there was a government policy to take lighter-skinned Aboriginal children away from their usually Aboriginal mothers, and they often went to institutions to be, I guess, educated in the ways of essentially providing service to white people. And that is the trajectory of his life, and he also experienced abuse in those institutions, I believe. So, yeah, this is going to be a very sad read, I'm sure, but I think it's a story worth reading about. Okay, moving into secondhand purchases. I really only had a couple, actually only one, prior to yesterday, and I'll show you that one. It's a poetry collection called The World's Wife by Carol Ann Duffy. I recently read a poetry collection that was edited by her. It included at least one of her poems, maybe two, but she is the poet laureate. I don't know if she still is, but this is a collection of her own work, and it was first published in 1999, so there's probably not too much to tell you about it other than that it's a poetry collection, and at some point I will read it. That's pretty much all I can tell you. But yeah, I will, again, report back. But then yesterday, I went secondhand shopping with my husband. We went to a couple of different secondhand stores. I'm going to save my most exciting find until last, but I'll show you the other two books that I picked up as part of that. This was exciting too, because this book only just came out in 2026. Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. The shop that I got this from, the secondhand shop I got it from, is right next door to a bookstore, and the bookstore's price ticket was still on the back, so I reckon this was purchased at that bookstore. The person read it and then donated it next door. Probably a local person would be my guess. So anyway, it was exciting to find Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. This one is about I believe a younger girl with an older man. So let's find out. Waldo is ravenous, horny, blunt, naive, wise, impulsive, lonely, angry, hurting, endlessly wanting. And the thing... Oh, Waldo's a girl. Okay. And the thing she wants most of all, Mr. Corgi, her creative writing teacher. Mr. Corgi with the wife and the kid and the mortgage and the bills, with the dead dreams and the atrophied looks and the growing paunch. She doesn't know why she wants him. Is it his passion, his life experience, the fact that he knows books and films that she doesn't? Or are they actually kindred spirits, sharing the same filter with which they each take in the world around them? Or perhaps it's just enough that he sees her when no one else does. So obviously this is about a relationship that should not happen, but I'm curious to see, to read this book and to find out what the buzz is about, because I've heard quite a lot of people talking about this, although I will say mixed feelings about it. Does it have anything to say? I'm not 100% sure. The other book that I picked up is Close Range, Wyoming Stories by Annie Proulx. Is that how you say this surname? I'm not 100% sure. This includes Brokeback Mountain. So I have read the short story of Brokeback Mountain. I really loved it. But this is the collection that it originally came out in, I believe. But yeah, so I will reread that when I get to it. It's the very last story, I think, in the collection. Yeah. But there's a bunch of other ones as well. So I'm excited. I was excited to find this because I have read Brokeback Mountain, but I am curious to read more of the stories that kind of were with it in its original publication. Okay. The last find was very, very exciting. If you've been around a little bit, in fact, I'm pretty sure in my last haul video I talked about Georgette Heyer, and I mentioned that I have quite a significant collection of her books. I haven't read heaps of them. I've read maybe 3 or 4, but I've had a good time each of those times, and I definitely want to read more of her. But I've been sort of slowly like picking up secondhand copies of various books and in a particular type of edition. And I walked into this particular shop, which normally I always go and have a look, and sometimes I find a thing or two, but like normally it doesn't have a huge amount of books in it. It's mostly clothes in this particular secondhand store. However, as I walked in the door and I looked to the back of the store, which is where I knew the books were, I could see a stack on top of the bookshelf, and I was like, oh my God. I was with my husband. I was like, oh my God, I think that is a big stack of Georgette Heyer books, and it was, and I was so excited. I have in my notes app on my phone a list of all of her books with the ones I've got ticked off, and then the ones I don't have are not ticked off. So I was able to consult my list and add 7 more books to my collection, which was very exciting. I'm not going to talk about all of these individually. I've just dropped one on the floor. Pause. Hold on. Here it is. It's okay. No harm done. But I'm so excited. And this is the one of them is a different edition. So that's the Nonesuch, and it's a Source Books Casablanca, an imprint of Source Books Inc. edition. However, all of the other ones are these Arrow Books editions, which is more what I'm collecting, but I'm happy to have, I've got a couple that are different editions, so it's no problem. Because she was writing, it's quite a big period of time, but a lot of the older editions of her books, which I have, are those kind of quite like cheap, flimsy, some of them I think Picador, maybe. Anyway, they're kind of like dying because they were originally published in like the 70s or something, or earlier, and they're falling apart. So I'm also slowly replacing some of the ones I have in those older editions with these newer editions. But let me tell you the books that I got. So I mentioned the Nonesuch, and then I also got this one, which is called The Quiet Gentleman. I got These Old Shades. I got The Reluctant Widow. Friday's Child, An Infamous Army, and Beauvallet. These are all sort of historical romance, I guess, is probably the best way to categorize them, but they're from different periods. So she's got like a whole bunch that are like in the Georgian period, then she's got some that are Regency, so this is kind of like a mix. And then there's other ones as well from other time periods that are sort of scattered throughout. So yeah, that's the bulk of all of these. So none of these are any of her. She also has mystery novels. None of these are the mystery novels, but they're all the kind of like historical romance ones. But I'm excited, very, very excited to have these now in my collection. Although one of them does have some pages that are kind of loosey-goosey. So hopefully it is complete and none of the pages have fallen out, because that would be a bit disappointing. Just have a quick look. It looks like they're all there, so we should be all good, even though the pages are loose. So I will hopefully be reading some more Georgette Heyer soon. I do actually want to read some of her mystery stuff soon, but I probably will also maybe pick up a romance of hers too. Anyway, that's it for the book haul. I'm so glad that you were with me today. So excited to find those Georgette Heyers. I really love collecting them, and I looked up, I think it's something in the vicinity of like 56 books that she published overall, and when I had a look, I now only need to get 19 of them to complete my collection, which is very, very exciting for like such a high volume of books that I've gotten over half of them. So anyway, the hunt continues, and I will continue to look for these books in secondhand stores. It is a thrill. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.